This next story comes from Gothamist, local public reporting here in New York City. And the title of this story is that the NYPD is now legally mandated to respond to protests differently. If we think back to the Black Lives Matter protests of the summer of 2020, there was lots of concern and criticism of NYPD's crowd control tactics, chiefly the use of kettling, which is essentially boxing in protesters to maximize the number of arrests that they're able to make, as well as overall kind of violence and the chaos in some of the policing tactics there. And we wanted to bring this back to this podcast in particular because I think it's important to highlight some of the slow moving work that a lot of great nonprofits are doing in the backgrounds that are really helping reform some institutions and things like policing, which is something that everyone was talking about in 2020 and now, kind of falls to the background. To bring it to the forefront again, this is the result of the settlement of a lawsuit brought by the New York Civil Liberties Union as well as the Legal Aid Society, two phenomenal legal advocacy organizations. Of course, there was a long, drawn out legal process, but the successful settlement here has gone into effect now. It's legally now mandated that the department ban the use of kettling. There are four-tiered response systems to better calibrate the NYPD's response based on conditions at demonstrations, as well as restricting the deployment of the NYPD's often criticized strategic response group. And we think that this is really important because it shows the slow moving, kind of boring, but extremely important work of civil liberties and civil rights organizations that are working to reform policing behind the scenes. It's slow, hard work, but it is happening, and those organizations deserve a shout out. And this comes, by the way, as the NYPD last year paid out $114 million in wrongful settlement conduct claims or wrongful conduct settlements. So, of course, policing is a huge problem for New Yorkers and something that is encountered often. So, just truly excellent work, and an important follow up from a story that doesn't get enough attention in America, and that is policing.
That 114 million, by the way, in those lawsuits could be reapplied toward healthier policing practices, compensation, you name it, as opposed to being attacked for doing the wrong thing, which is just going to create a more efficient and safer system and hopefully help the nonprofits, especially advocacy organizations, planning future protests to do it in a safer, healthier way.